Andrew Cornish, 5 months since you took on the role of CEO. It's been a busy 5 months, to say the very least. How have you found things?
Yeah, it has been a very, very, very busy 5 months, but an exciting 5 months. We've seen a lot of change. We've seen a lot of stabilisation, if that's an expression you can use, in things both on and off the pitch. So, yeah, I would say a satisfying 5 months, but still a lot of work to do.
Absolutely. Well, thanks ever so much for joining us and giving us an update on things. Let's kick off with a couple of areas of governance. Firstly, can I ask what the current status is with the pension situation?
Pension situation is essentially resolved now, so without getting into all the detail, everyone that has been affected by the pension issues has been contacted and things have been rectified. There's a couple of minor issues to address with ex-players and ex-employees, but they, again, have been contacted and we've got that in hand. So, yeah, it's not been our finest hour, that's for sure, but at least we've got things straightened out now.
I know one thing you were really keen to do was tighten up in all areas of finance in the business, and that's why you appointed a new Chief Financial Officer in Illa Bardwaj. Obviously, Illa came through an interviewing process, background in media agencies. What will Illa bring to Middlesex?
Well, I mean, Illa's already had a massive impact. She spent some time with us before she officially joined. In fact, looking at the whole process, we were really inundated with some fantastic candidates, but Illa did really stand out. She brings a breath of fresh air, a dynamism that I think to this new role that's really, really important for the club. She'll bring some rigour, but I think she'll bring stuff beyond just the finance role as well in terms of the culture of the club and what we're trying to do, again, on and off the pitch.
Great to hear. You've joined at a time of great uncertainty for the game financially. Obviously, I'd like to say we're coming out of a COVID pandemic, but we're clearly still in it. The impact to the game has been enormous, and Middlesex have certainly felt the pressure as well. What's been the financial impact and how are things financially at the club at the moment?
Well, it's the perfect storm, really, COVID, isn't it? You have fewer crowds, so fewer sales, and you have more costs because all the things that have to go on to be able to put cricket on and keep everyone safe, be it players, coaches, spectators, adds cost to the business as well. So I say that's not ideal. What is fantastic is that our membership has stayed loyal to us, which is just wonderful. A lot of counties have seen reductions in the numbers of members. We haven't. Actually, our membership's probably increased slightly, which is testimony to the loyalty of our members and their passion for Middlesex cricket. So we won't rest on our laurels with that, but I think we're in pretty good shape.
Good to hear. I'm going to touch on membership in a little while, but just one last financial question, really. Does the financial situation of the club impact quite heavily now on recruitment, retention of staff, of players? I guess every decision we're now making as a club falls under immense scrutiny.
It falls under scrutiny, but we're here to invest and we're here to be ambitious. So if you look at the recruitment you just mentioned of Illa, that's a new position. And if you look at the recruitment on the pitch of Shaheen Shah Afridi, yeah, that's ambitious as well. I'd like to hope as the chief exec with the board and with Illa, we won't stymie any intent to try and grow the club. So, you know, the cricket model is a relatively straightforward business model. You know, we don't have shareholders we need to pay dividends to or things like that. Everything that we do that we can generate in terms of revenue within the club can be invested into cricket, and I mean cricket at all levels. So we have the elite men's and women's teams, but all the way down through participation, all-stars, chance to shine, things like that. It's all about investing back into cricket. So I hope I'll never get in the way of saying we need to cut costs on the playing side or the participation side. It's my job to make sure we continue to keep investing.
Andrew, we're catching up with Simon Shepherd later from Optima Life, who is back working with the club. Many members will, of course, know Simon. He used to sit on our board. What work will Simon be doing with the club and what has he been doing over the last couple of years?
Simon's been working initially with the playing squad around culture and dressing room culture and how we want to behave and play our cricket. But I've also asked Simon now to work with the club as a whole, so the backroom staff, the people in the office, so that we have a real one club mentality, which is born out in our vision of winning together. And Simon's really leading that. And helping develop us as a group.
Andrew, you mentioned cultural change, and that's something that Simon will be working with us on. We've also gone through something of a structural change. Perhaps you can expand upon that in terms of what's happened and what the way forward is in terms of the structure of the club.
Yeah, I think it's very important to have clear accountabilities. So the restructuring has essentially been around the senior management team and on the playing side. If I touch on the senior management team, that's giving all my direct reports very clear accountabilities and responsibilities for what they do, be that financial or be it the activities they undertake. So, we're a team, and I think perhaps that's been missing in the past. I want to work together as a senior management team to deliver the vision of the club.
Good stuff. Andrew, as CEO, you also sit on a number of our governance committees. I guess one committee that's been extremely busy of late is the D&I committee, our Diversity and Inclusion Committee. With everything the game is facing in recent weeks and months, must have been an extremely testing time and challenging time for the club. Can you expand upon what we're doing here at Middlesex to address that issue?
It has been a challenging time for cricket, and again, not its finest hour. Whilst this area is not a competition in any way, and we can always get better and we can always learn, I'm very proud of what Middlesex has been doing over the last 18 months. We have already had a diversity and inclusion activation plan in place for the last 18 months. And it hasn't gone quite as fast as we'd like it to do and quite as deep as we'd like it to do because of COVID, and sounds like a poor excuse. COVID gets used for everything, but we're being honest. We're looking ourselves in the mirror and say we need to do more. We need to do more faster, but we are in a very good place. In the short term, we've taken some actions. We've set up a anonymous whistleblower line, which we have had some contact from individuals, and we're pursuing those and following up on those. I think the one really big positive I take out of this, or there's a number of positives. One is that I've had as many people offering help from the membership as I've had people raising issues, which I think is very, very positive. It shows that people want cricket to succeed and they want to help us out, and we've got some very influential people that are now helping us out. And I think the fact that we're already taking action gives us a credibility that we were doing the right things. We're just going to do more of them. And the final thing, I guess, is, and I was chatting to an ex-player just recently, and we were both talking about, we will be able to look back on this and go, actually, we were there and we helped make a difference. And I think that's something that it's really important in life, when you can look back and just quietly go, yeah, I was there and we made a difference, and we will make a difference. And cricket will look back on this time, I hope, positively, and things will be very, very different in the coming months and years.
Thanks, Andrew. Another committee you sit on is our membership committee, which is chaired by Marilyn Smith. Again, that's been one of the busier committees, I would say, in recent times. Obviously, we've been working extremely hard after a disappointing 2021, been working extremely hard to try and find ways that we can reward the loyalty of those members. Can you expand upon that? Because I think the feedback we've had as a club in terms of the package we've put together has been outstanding.
It's been absolutely fantastic. I mean, testimony to that, as I mentioned earlier, is the fact that our membership has actually grown slightly when you look at a number of other counties that have had double-digit decreases in their membership numbers. So, again, testimony to the loyalty of our wonderful members. I think the other great thing that's happened is the introduction of the surveys. We've done 2 or 3 of those surveys now, and it really enables us to quantify what members want, and it's enabled us to have some difficult conversations with some members as well who've said, well, I think we should be doing this, and you say, well, actually 70% of our members want this, and I know this might not be the answer you want, but actually 70% of the people that own this club, this is what they want to do. So continuing those surveys and getting members, which we've got fantastic redemption rates, 2,000-3,000 people replying to these surveys very, very quickly, is so useful to us. So I just plead to members again, if we do send out, we won't bombard you with surveys, but if we do send out surveys, please continue to fill them in and complete them. They're so valuable to us and to the club.
Excellent. Andrew, I touched on the departmental restructuring earlier. One of those departments that's been through a bit of a mix-up is obviously our professional cricket department. We've now got Alan Coleman in place. Alan obviously served a very long career through the coaching ranks to get to this level. You've appointed Alan. What are you expecting him to bring to the role?
I'm expecting Alan to help bring the vision of the club, the winning together. I'm hoping that, or expecting him to bring a culture and a structure that enables the elite playing group to be the best they can be. So having a way and a style of playing cricket that's the Middlesex way, part of the Middlesex DNA, which is so strong in this club, making sure that we perform and we act like that in everything we do, both playing and training, and that runs over a 3, 4, 5, 6 year period, so that when we're all gone, Fletch, and Alan's moved on somewhere else in 10 years' time or whatever that is, we've still got that culture and that DNA that's the right way of playing cricket for Middlesex.
Good stuff. I know one of the, having spoken to Alan last week, I know one of the tasks he's got on his plate at the moment is appointing a head coach and a club coach. Can you expand on where that's going? I understand there's some interviews due in January.
Yeah, it's really, really exciting. The application's closed for the first team coach last Friday. We were inundated with some fantastic applications. We've got a short list now that we'll be interviewing in the early days of January. And there are some proper household names on there. So I think we're going to be spoilt for choice. It's going to be a difficult decision, I think, to make. But we've got a broad group in the interview panels that we've got. And we will reach a conclusion, and I'm sure we'll end up with an absolutely superb first team coach.
Brilliant. Andrew, as CEO, where do you see the priorities lying in 2022? And obviously you'll have a head of men's professional cricket, you'll have a new first team coach in place. Do you as CEO want us to focus our endeavours on getting out to Division 2 of the County Championship, or are you more perhaps geared towards achieving some white ball success, which is long overdue?
I think we need to be competing in all formats. We've got a squad of players that are quite capable of competing in all formats, so that's what we should be doing. I wouldn't quantify saying get out of Division 2 or quarter-final place in a white ball competition. I wouldn't go that far. Just say that let's see us winning more games, see us winning a lot more games than we have done in the last couple of years, and let's see us winning them the way we want to win them, with some exciting cricket. I think the other priorities, financial sustainability in the club. So it has been difficult times. We've had the COVID issues, we've had the pension issues, and whilst we're in a reasonably solid financial place, my job as CEO, together with the board and ILA, is to make sure that's sustainable over the years, and that we can see a future 3-5 years out that enables us to continue to invest in cricket, as I talked about earlier. I think we've got a big challenge around facilities. It's fantastic being here at Lord's. It's a wonderful place to play cricket. We need to make sure we've got the best places that we can for the men and the women to train as professional athletes. We've seen some great strides forward already this winter with the way we've been welcomed at Lord's and doing our winter training here at Lord's, and with the Sunrisers, what they've been doing around in the other counties and at Cambridge and at Chelmsford. That's great, but we need a longer term plan, so we'll be working, I think, more with Radlett and with Merchant Taylors moving forward, and hopefully when that strategy is in place we'll be able to share that with members in the coming months.
Andrew, you touched on this man earlier, Shaheen Shah Afridi. As CEO, obviously he's one of your appointments. How proud are you going to be to see one of the best bowlers in the world, Pakistan international, trotting out here with the 3 CXs on his shirt?
Well, it makes me very proud of our club that someone like him wants to come and play for us. I think that's absolutely fantastic, and how that came about was also very exciting, with making contact through a reasonably good friend of mine in Azhar Ali, and he said, I asked him whether Shaheen might be interested to come and play at Middlesex, and he said I'm sure he'd be absolutely delighted. I think it'd be a great place for him to come and play. So that is testimony to how strong our club's reputation is, that someone of Shaheen's calibre wants to come and play his cricket here. I hope that will be the start of a longer term relationship with him.
Brilliant. I mentioned I'd spoken to Alan last week and interviewed him. He touched on the fact that we might also be looking to announce fairly imminently another overseas signing. He hinted quite strongly that might be Majid.
Well, there you go. So he did. I heard that as well. I thought, I think we are very hopeful that Majid will be coming back. That will give us a phenomenal bowling attack in the Blast. Really exciting and proper box office cricket here next summer.
Absolutely. Andrew, you mentioned Sunrisers earlier. It's been a difficult year on the field for them again this year, but there's an enormous amount of work being done to build our regional elite women's programme under Danny Warren. What are your thoughts on where the future of that lies?
It's incredibly exciting. I mean, everyone saw what happened in the 100 with women's cricket and how the spectator numbers just went through the roof, and we need to continue to grow on that. These women are in their second year of professional careers. They're able to now practice 365 days a year if they want. and are paid to play cricket. There is no doubt, listening to the coaches, that their skill levels are going up and up and up, and that will continue as they're now full-time professionals. So I think for the future, the Sunrisers looks really exciting. What Carrie's doing with Middlesex women and girls, I think, is also really exciting in the alignment of that. So yeah, I'm so optimistic about the future for Sunrisers and women's and girls cricket in general within the county.
Andrew, you mentioned earlier the surveys that our members have been very generous in giving their time up and helping us with. One bit of data that came back really strongly from one of the surveys we sent out was a concern that members perhaps weren't getting to see enough cricket at Lords at key points of the summer. Obviously, we've heard from the ECB that the fixtures are going to be delayed until January, but there is a bit of light at the end of the tunnel, I guess, a bit of positive news you can perhaps share with us based on the schedules that you've seen, the proposed schedules, should I say? So
yes, I mean, literally as of yesterday, we had another revised schedule, not with who we'd be playing, but when the blocks of time we would be playing. Obviously, there's some restrictions here at Lords because the 100 will be going on during August, but I'm very hopeful that we'll have a couple of blocks of championship cricket in the heart of the summer, so in June and July, which is a big improvement on where we were last year. And I think we're working very closely now with Lords, with Jamie Cox, the new head of cricket here at the MCC. They understand that Middlesex is really, really important to Lords and to the MCC members as well as the Middlesex members. And they're very keen that we put on as much cricket here as we can. So I hope, it is disappointing, as you say, the fixtures aren't out. But I hope when they come out, members will be pleased within the constraints that we're always going to have of playing at the home of cricket. But I think we're working together with the MCC, and I think a schedule that's going to be pretty much as good as it can be will come out.
That's really good to hear. Well, look, Andrew, just want to say huge thanks for your time. Thanks for being so open and answering our questions. This will be your last opportunity to address members before we certainly break up for festive period, and I guess they do too. What would you like to leave with members?
Well, just a massive thank you for their loyalty during these really, really difficult times. I hope we can rely on that, but not take for granted that continued loyalty. Thank you for everything you've done with things like completing the surveys and things like that, and the advice that you've given, the offers of help you've given in the difficult times. I don't want to sound too trite, but we really do have an incredible membership. I just want to wish everyone a fantastic, happy Christmas, and let's have a more peaceful new year and a more enjoyable new year and more success on the pitch for both our men's and women's teams.
Thanks, Andrew.